Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Premier League Talk right here on the Finished Article. And today, as always, I'm joined by some co-hosts. I've got my boy Shaz. Hello, Shaz. You're on mute, bro. You muted yourself. Whilst I wait for you to unmute yourself, I'll bring Nav on. Nav, are we good, yeah?
I'm good, Shaz. How's it going, mate? You all right?
Sweet. All good, man. All good. Before we do continue, Shaz is reminding me here on these messages to please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments, and share the podcast to all of your social media. So please do that before Shaz kills me. Yeah. But how's everyone been doing? Anything good for New Year or just chilling?
It's been a fairly settled couple of weeks off work, just recharging the batteries, getting ready for the new year. I think,
That's it, bro. That's it. Got to recharge the batteries in it for the new year.
Well, that's it. It's been a hectic 2022. I'm hoping 2023 is a lot easier and a lot quieter.
Same here, bro. Same here. I'm hoping 2023 is a bit of a better year than 2022. What about yourself, Shaz?
Yeah, all good, bro. I've had a good few weeks off. Nice, relaxing break. Chilling with the family, just recharging the batteries as usual, catching up on the sport as always. Can't go wrong with that.
As always. So, which games did you manage to catch over the past couple of days from Friday?
So after we linked on Friday, I kind of got home and caught the end of the Liverpool game. The Liverpool one, which was interesting considering they didn't score themselves, but we'll get on to
that. I saw the highlights of that, bro. I saw the highlights.
And then the West Ham result, well, I kind of predicted it on the preview that we did earlier this week. So my prediction streak is continuing.
It's still going, bro. It's still going, bro. What's going on here, bro? I need to up my game on these predictions, yeah?
Bro, I'm not the Undertaker, bro. I'm just good.
Madness. What about you now? Did you catch any of the games over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean the main one obviously I watched was the Man United Wolves game. I'm a bit surprised with what happened with Rashford at the start. Funny to find him being benched for oversleeping, but hey, that's what it is,
Yeah, that was quality, man. That was quality. when he did his interview at the end and said it's because he slept in, I was like, why is Ten Hag playing that, man?
It's easily done. Everybody's done that. We've all I think everybody's overslept once,
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I like the way he kind of handled it as well at the same time. He came out and said, hands up, I've made a mistake, and
he laughed it off, didn't he?
He did, yes, definitely.
He just laughed it off. It was good of him to admit it and then say, we move on.
Yeah.
We've had a discussion, end of story. It's in the past, and we'll move on from it.
And a few of the other games that I caught brief highlights of, the Man City Everton game. And I watched the Arsenal Brighton game, which was another good one as well. I think there'll be good covering that later on in the show as well. But yeah, very, very good game.
Definitely, yeah. There were some interesting results, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, we'll go through them and we'll speak about them as we go through them. Do you want to? We'll start with the ones at the top of this list. I've got West Ham versus Brentford. Brentford winning that 2-0. As Shaz said, he predicted West Ham were going to lose this, didn't you, Shaz?
Yeah, like I said, bro, West Ham have been on a poor run of form. I think this is the first time they lost 6 on the bounce since Slaven Bilic in 2017. They've just, for me, the David Moyes, I think their time is done. He's probably going to get sacked or he should resign. But Brentford came out all guns blazing. Ivan Toney with the goal and I think Josh De Silva with the second. But yeah, routine win for them.
Yeah, man. It was Ivan Toney scoring like you said he would.
Yeah, well, what do you expect, bro? It's I think he's about to get banned, so he's going to get all the goals he can now before the FA hits him with a heavy suspension.
How long do you reckon that suspension is going to be, man? Because it was how many allegations of gambling were it? Like 200 and something?
285 counts.
Yeah, are they going to give him a 285-day ban or 285 weeks?
I think it's going to work out at like half a season or maybe a year out.
Is that it?
Depending on how
that's not a lot, to be fair.
Well, it's not a lot, but in his career, considering the Euros are coming up in a year and a half, he needs the game time.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I was expecting at least a 2-year ban, I'll be honest with you. Maybe even longer, because that is a lot of allegations to have against you. And obviously, he's been banned because he's been found guilty. So he should at least have at least a minimum of 2 years for that. But he's getting away with it lightly, I reckon.
I tell you who's getting away with it lightly. I think in terms of what we've seen this weekend, any other manager that performed and lost 6 on the bounce, they'd have lost their job. West Ham, I think David Moyes are living a charmed life at the minute.
Oh yeah, I think he's getting away with it, isn't he? He's stealing a living right now. But yeah, go on, Nav. You were about to say something before Shaz jumped in there.
No. I don't know. I'm just gonna try and go back to this Ivan Toney point in the fact that obviously the allegations are there. People know what's going on and stuff. But I don't know. It just depends on what circumstances are presented at the time. With regards to whatever has kind of led up to this sort of thing with regards to the match fixing, etc. I think Ivan Toney's a good player. I think he's somebody who can make a difference, perhaps internationally, if he can get his head down. But at the same time, I think an extensive or a very, very long ban, might cause an issue or a problem with his career. I'm not sure if he'd be able to come back to, or if he would even come back to Brentford once his ban is over. I'm not sure what Brentford's stance is.
Brentford would release him from his contract, wouldn't they? In all honesty, or they should do anyway. I think at the point where he gets banned for gambling and stuff. They can't keep him on the payroll, can they? Really? Like that. I think if they kept him on, they'd be sticking by him, which a club doesn't want to stick by someone who's obviously just been caught, or just been done for all these allegations. So I think I think they'll release him from his contract. In all honesty.
Fair enough. And what's your take on it, Shazzy? What do you think? I mean, I always believe, well, the strong notion is even legally that you're innocent until proven guilty. So.
It's true. You are innocent until proven guilty. But I think if he's going to get banned, I think he's definitely going to go down as guilty.
Right. Fair enough.
But I mean, it could go the other way. I mean, he could be proven innocent and he might not even get banned.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So there is always two sides to the story. So obviously, we'll probably have to wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds. Definitely.
We'll jump on to the next game. Shaz covered a little bit of it earlier. Liverpool versus Leicester on Friday. Liverpool winning 2-1, and they didn't even score a goal. Leicester scored all 3 goals in this game.
Yeah,
fire it over to you guys.
What a cracker of a game. I mean, I think I was listening on the radio as I was driving back, and I was like, Leicester have scored. So I was like, damn, my fantasy football side has just gone down the drain. And then I get home, one of my Adam.
Bro, that's what you get for putting Liverpool players in your fantasy football team.
Yeah, I'm learning the hard way, bro. So anyway, Adam then messages 3-0 to Leicester, and I'm like, let me turn this TV on and let me see what's going on. It's 2-1 to Liverpool. So I had to look at the scores, and he was right in the sense that Leicester had scored. But by the way, a big shout out to Fez for the spectacular own goals. He is definitely more clinical than Darwin Núñez right now. Darwin Núñez couldn't hit a barn door to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, as I used to say in one of the old, I think it was an old World Cup game or FIFA game, this guy couldn't hit a cow's backside with a banjo. I don't know if you remember it from one of the FIFA games.
Yeah.
I think it may have been World Cup 98 game. I might be wrong on that, but I think it was FIFA World Cup 98.
It was a long time ago,
The commentary that one of the commentators said every time you hit you couldn't score a goal. But yeah, this Liverpool versus Leicester game. I mean, I actually wanted Leicester to win this. As everyone knows, I hate Liverpool, and rightfully so. I'm a Man United fan, and anyway, it's football fans in general. I think most just hate Liverpool anyway, or they should, or they should. Yeah, I was quite surprised that Liverpool didn't score any goals themselves. I know obviously they won the game 2-1, but I would have expected maybe Salah to score a goal, or someone, maybe even Jordan Henderson, and you know, Shaz, that I hate Jordan Henderson. But it is what it is. A win's a win in football, and 3 points is 3 points. However it comes, and I think Liverpool got away with this one. If any other day, I think the first on goal where he booted it high and it just about went in. A little bit more power, and it wouldn't have gone in. So
that was kind of unlucky. I will say that the first goal, because it was
the first one was very unlucky.
So it was unlucky. It was just I think it was just, it can happen to anybody. Unfortunate the way it looped in. I don't think he deliberately meant to put that in the back of the net. It's just one of those things. But Liverpool are known for their high pressing, and unfortunately, they'll catch most teams out, as much as we hate to say it. I think it was the second one that kind of killed it. So Nunes kind of dinked it over. It hit the post. And most instinctively, what you do is probably stop and then boot it out. But I think the way Fez was running, he was running with so much G-force. He had so much nods in him that by the time he tried to stop, it literally just ricocheted.
It just bounced off him, didn't it? It just ricocheted back into the back of the net.
I'm like,
which again, wow. I think it was very unlucky. Both of them were very unlucky. I mean, any other day he could have cleared both of them, and this could have been a 1-0 win for Leicester. So, as I said, I think Liverpool got away with this. I think they stole 3 points from Leicester there.
But I think what it proves this weekend is that the top teams that have played, and we'll cover on to the rest of them, they have been pretty convincing, if we're being honest, and we'll cover them shortly. But Liverpool really didn't get out of first gear. I don't even think they got into first gear. They're probably in neutral.
It was automatic. They put themselves in reverse, bro.
They got the win because of the pressure they put Leicester under. It was more like Leicester crumbled rather than Liverpool actually doing anything to win.
Exactly. I think Liverpool, like I said, I think Liverpool got away with this one, and I think any other team, this would have been a win for whoever played Liverpool if it was any other team. I think it was just that defender was just in the wrong place at the wrong time on both chances, and that's just very, very unfortunate for Leicester, because if he wasn't in those places at them times, that would have just been a 1-0 win, as I said, for Leicester. What about yourself, Nav?
I mean, you're right, Shaz. Every time Liverpool play, I'm one of those people that like watching Liverpool lose as well. However, I think something good that came out of the game for Liverpool, other than the scoreline itself, was Trent's performance. I think he played quite well. I'll be honest with you, with the highlights that I watched, I thought, he made quite a lot of passes. From what I understand, he made about 40 passes, did 3 or 4 tackles as well. So, bright spot for Trent. Was that a bit of a
I think Trent had a decent game, I mean, and he played out of defence, so it's probably one of his best performances in defence. And again, like you said, we just like seeing Liverpool lose. So hopefully, going forward, hopefully we can watch them lose a couple of games.
Yeah.
But this game, to me, it should have been a loss for Liverpool. Well, it is what it is. I think 3 points are 3 points, however you get them at the end of the day, innit? So we'll move on to the next game, the game that we all probably want, the main game for all three of us, because I think we're all United fans here.
Yeah, that's
it. Wolves versus Man United, 1-0 win for Man United. And I think this was the 7th win in a row for Man United, and it's the first time they've won 7 games in a row since 2017, which is the reverse of West Ham's losing 6 on the trot. So
I'm gonna say something here, Shaz. When United bought Casemiro, I was a bit skeptical, but after that performance against Wolves, I think what an inspired signing. I think this guy's going to do some good stuff for United. It's probably something that we've needed, for a number of years. But what a good performance! What a solid performance by.
I think that's 2 back-to-back solid performances for Casemiro, because the one against Nottingham Forest, I praised him very highly for that one, and Shaz was on that podcast with me. I praised him very highly for his interceptions and the way he set up Fred for that third goal. But this one against Wolves, I think he was very clinical in his defending. And another player that had a really good game was Varane.
Yeah, that's it.
Varane goes very unnoticed in games because he's very quiet, but he's always in the right place at the right time. He clears the ball when he needs to. You know, he doesn't make, from what I've seen so far, he doesn't make that many mistakes. Obviously, he's human at the end of the day. He is going to make mistakes, and all humans make mistakes, bro. But he doesn't make that many.
That's it.
I think we've lost Shaz, or he's put himself on mute.
Right.
Back.
I mean,
I'm here. Go on,
Go on now. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
With regards to how Casemiro has performed, I think he'll show in the next couple of weeks. I think we've got Man City, and then we've got Arsenal coming on the back of that as well. So it'll be very good to see Casemiro against these 2 bigger teams.
Definitely. I can't wait.
Ultimately how he gets on, and then. Yeah, like I said, if he's got a solid performance in, and then obviously we've got Barcelona coming up as well.
February,
So it'll be an interesting few weeks, well, a couple of months. Definitely to see how he progresses. And the situation now with obviously Ronaldo not being at the team anymore as well.
We will cover off Ronaldo later, man, with what's going on with him. That needs to be spoken about. Actually, now that you brought it up, bro, let's just pause on the Premier League for a little bit, and let's just talk a little about Ronaldo and his situation, because a lot of people have been giving him a lot of stick for this for the move over to Saudi. And rightfully so, because the reason he wanted to leave initially was because he wanted to play Champions League football, and then he just decides to go over to Saudi. Now, I don't know about you two guys, but I'm a very big fan of Ronaldo, right? And it takes a lot for me to say he's done something wrong, but he's definitely gone wrong here somewhere. Like, from that interview to leaving Man United to moving to Saudi for this deal, he's done wrong, because he's always said it's about passion and not the money. And this move, obviously, to me, smells like he's done it a lot for the money and not for the football.
Well, what do you expect, bro? I mean, so okay, I'm about to drive some mic bombs now. So basically, if you give an interview to an Arsenal fan, Piers Morgan, and say you want to play Champions League, it's not about the money, but then you force an exit out of a top club in Europe, what do you think is going to happen to you?
In goal, it should have been 2-0, really. I mean, Rashford scored that second goal that was disallowed because it bounced off his arm, but it wasn't intentional. So it is what it is.
And I think it sets a good example as well, Chaz, I think, for the other players as well, with the way Ten Hag has handled that. Obviously, the Ronaldo controversy is still there. But I think it's time to kind of draw the line underneath that and try and move on. And I think, I think it's a step in the right direction. We need a striker. I believe we need a striker. I'm not sure if United will get one.
There's a lot of rumours that we're after João Felix.
Yeah.
But only on a loan deal till summer. Wait for the ownership of United to change by then. And then obviously we sign him in summer, or we sign someone else, however that works. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think United had a decent performance. As you said, Casemiro had a standout performance.
Yeah,
Varane had a good performance. De Gea made some brilliant saves to keep.
De Gea was really good.
Keep that clean sheet.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw still played centre-back over Harry Maguire, which I think was a brilliant decision, because Luke Shaw is owning that position like he's played there all his life. And he hasn't. He's played left-back all his life. So he's coming to his own at centre-back as well. So it's good to know that you've got a player that can play that, those different positions, especially for Ten Hag, and especially when we've got some idiot like Harry Maguire in the team.
Yeah, I like Harry Maguire.
Shaz's favourite player.
Yeah.
Shaz has a United shirt with Harry Maguire written on the back. Maguire written on the back, bro.
Respect to Shaz, yeah, why not?
I wish, bro. I think even Ferdinand came out and said in an article earlier today that Maguire needs to find another club. I mean, if your left back is playing in your position and you're fit enough to play but don't get selected, I think your time's up.
100%. His time was up a while, at least a season ago, bro. I don't even know how he made the England squad. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how he made the England squad over other centre backs, but that's a story for another day, bro. We could be here all day talking about how bad Maguire is. Shall we move on to the next game? We've got Man City at home to Everton, 1-1. I just want to throw this out there. That goal from Damari Gray was probably one of the best individual goals I've seen in a long time. The way he took the ball, he almost slipped as well before he took the shot. If you watch the replays, but he still put it in the back of the net, and I think that was a standout goal. And a lot of people are saying it's contender for goal of the season already.
Well, he slipped, got up, and managed to take the shot. I think that for me, that basically just shows. I mean, I think we could sum this game up pretty quickly. Haaland gets his goal, which is probably standard for most, and then the goal that they scored basically just says that defensively, Man City are quite weak. So whilst they love to attack defensively, you can literally, if you're smart enough, you can literally just whack them for shots rather than playing pretty football. Take random shots. That's what Damari Gray kind of did. A good shot at the end of the day, but he could have been closed down. Man City were poor defending that.
100%. Yeah, Man City should have closed him down. And I think the commentators even, as we're watching the replay, said that there was no pressure on him. He had so much time to stop, turn around with the ball, slip, get back up, and then score. So it just shows that no one was around him. Sorry, Nav. I think you were trying to speak there before we both.
No, that's fine. I mean, what I was going to say, I was rather surprised with this result. I expected Man City. I expected them. I'll be honest with you, to steamroll Everton here. So I'm quite surprised Everton managed to get a point out of this. Excuse me. I've got a close friend who's an Everton fan who always likes to, get in on the Everton performances once in a while with me, have a chat with me with regards to how they're doing, etc. I didn't watch the game. I'll be honest with you. I saw the goals, but I didn't watch the match. But from what I understand, yeah, you're right. At the back, they are looking a bit shaky, or Man City. I don't know if that's going to cost them throughout the season. I mean, we've still got quite a lot of games to go.
I think it has cost them at the moment because they're now 7 points behind Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, Arsenal, I mean, look, let's say United and City play in a couple of weeks. Let's say United beat City, which at the moment, I'm still 50-50 if I think they can. But with the way we're playing, I think we can do something in that game. But if United beat City and Arsenal carry on winning, that's going to put them 10 points clear. And then it's just going to get harder and harder for a team to catch Arsenal. And that's why a lot of people are saying Arsenal are now looking like favourites to win the league at this point. But obviously things can change in a couple of weeks in the Premier League. Anyone could just Arsenal could lose 3 games in a row and boom, someone's back, someone's caught them up. But yeah, I was pretty surprised that Everton took a point in this game as well. I was expecting, maybe 3-0. 3 or 4 goals from City and maybe one or something from Everton. So they did well to take a point from Man City, I think. And I think out of the 2 managers, Lampard will be the happier manager with that point than Pep.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know you mentioned Arsenal just there as well about points on dropping points. They've got over the next few games. They've got Tottenham. They've got Man United coming up. They're even playing Everton as well, and then they've got Man City. Yeah. So
they've got a rough lineup coming up.
Yeah.
I think they can beat Spurs. Like the North London derby, to me, is just Arsenal beating Spurs. I think that's the way it's going to go. If you don't know Nav, obviously everyone knows that I hate Liverpool, but Spurs are the other team that I hate the most.
Yeah, I know. I definitely know.
You can probably gather with the way I speak about them and the players. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal have got, so they've got, as you said, you've got United, City, and Spurs, and even Everton coming up in the next 4 or 5 games. So it's going to be interesting to see where Arsenal finish after them that run of games, if they can still be top and maybe 5 points clear at least, then they've still got a chance of staying top and winning this league.
See, funnily enough, on Tuesday, if somebody at the start of the season said it'll be first against third, I would never have believed them. But it's Arsenal playing Newcastle on Tuesday, so
that's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy.
Yeah, definitely should be a good game. Newcastle have had a great start as well. But yeah, we're gonna go on and move on to the upcoming fixtures. But yeah, let's get through the matches right now.
I mean, what we'll do is we'll get through the rest of the fixtures, and then we can speak about obviously other things in football in general, like Arsenal's run and whatnot.
Definitely.
The next game we have Fulham at home to Southampton. 2-1 win for Fulham.
I predicted this. I said to you that Fulham would.
I was waiting for you to say something. But I was waiting.
I told you. I think the only thing that let me down was Mitrovic missed a penalty. But I mean, apart from that, it was a kind of a routine win for Fulham. Southampton won at the races. Well, they even scored. Ward-Prowse scored a goal and an own goal in the same game. That was probably as good as it got for Southampton. Yeah, routine win for Fulham.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think in the predictions, correct me if I'm wrong, Shaz, did I say Southampton was going to win this? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think
probably did. Southampton. I think I backed Southampton, and to me, I thought Fulham would have lost this. So to me, it's a surprise result. It might not be for others, but for me, this was a surprise result. But yeah, like we said earlier, football's football. Anything can happen in football. Anyone can take 3 points. So it is what it is. What about yourself, Nav? Did you catch this game, or did you catch any highlights?
I'll be straight up and honest with you. No, I didn't catch any of this game. I checked the results, but yeah, I didn't bother with this game. Fortunately, yeah.
No worries, man. No worries. So we'll move on. We have Bournemouth losing at home to Crystal Palace 2-0 yesterday. I'll be honest with you on this one. I didn't catch this game, but I just checked the score, so I don't really know much about this game. Shaz, did you catch any highlights of this? Because I didn't even watch highlights on this.
Yes, what's the highlights of this? Palace were kind of dominant. Bournemouth, I think, struggled, and it's probably going to say a lot for their season because they haven't got decent reinforcements in. Palace basically bouncing back from the draw the other night when they had 2 men sent off. But yeah, I mean, just a routine win for Palace. Nothing exciting to talk about. Standard.
Fair play. So it's just like a normal game of football with nothing special in it.
Yeah, Bournemouth dominated the game with possession. I watched this briefly as well. Obviously, Crystal Palace had the shots, got the couple of goals, got the win. Yeah, nothing much to write about home with this game, in all honesty.
No, fair play. So we'll jump on to the next game. This one was a surprise result for me. Newcastle and Leeds 0-0. I actually predicted this to be the high-scoring game of the week. And there was no goals in it, so I couldn't be further from getting that right.
Well, I predicted a draw, but I didn't predict that. I think I said 2-2. And they ended up getting 0-0, so it was a bit of a drab affair.
Quite shocked because, as we spoke about, Newcastle have been on form. So it's quite shocking to see that they didn't score anything against Leeds because, let's be honest, Leeds haven't been playing that good.
But interestingly enough, they'd recalled Dubravka from that loan at Man United.
Yes.
So he went back.
Yeah, they called him back at the start of January from United. So I think the manager wants to use him in the upcoming. Obviously, there's quite a lot of fixtures coming up, so he probably wants to rotate his squad and he wants him back. So that leaves us with United with Tom Heaton as their number 2. So
yeah,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying on that. Tom Heaton's Tom Heaton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reinforcements are probably needed both sides. Yeah.
So all I'm saying is let's hope De Gea doesn't get injured or anything and continues his good form. And maybe we need to sign a goalkeeper like we did with from Newcastle on loan just to keep us going to the end of the season and maybe then get a number 2. And then anyway, at that point we'll get Dean Henderson back. So maybe rotate him and bring him into the squad instead of just playing De Gea, because I think Dean Henderson, given the game time, will turn into a really good goalkeeper at United. And with De Gea coming, De Gea's in his 30s now, so shouldn't we invest in the future with Dean Henderson?
Yeah, it's one to look at for the future. I guess him going out to Forest is good because he's getting game time. So I guess it'll put him in good stead. But I guess he just needs to keep up that form because Forest, I think, are going to struggle and will get relegated. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. No, go on, Nav. I'll let you say yours.
Yeah, so De Gea just recently turned 32. But at the same time, with regards to the training regimes in for players now, the fitness regimes that they have in place, keepers can go on till their late 30s. So I think we've still got quite a good few years in David De Gea left. But I understand what you're saying in the fact that Dean Henderson is an upcoming keeper. He's very good. I think I concur with Shaz when he says that giving him time at Nottingham Forest will allow him to develop his game and get some first team football. I think De Bruyne did come in to provide some competition to David De Gea. I don't think that was ever going to happen this season.
No, definitely not.
David De Gea is still a very, very good goalkeeper. Granted he has his
he has his moments, doesn't he?
Yeah, he goes through lean patches and stuff like that, but. I think he's a very, very reliable and a very, very good goalkeeper,
100%. I mean, look at some of the saves that he made against Wolves.
Yeah, that's it.
That just proves that he's still got it. Now, just going back to Dean Henderson a little bit. Now, before Ten Hag came in, or just after he came in and he was announced as manager, he was there. Dean Henderson didn't even speak to him. Before making the decision to go on loan to Nottingham Forest. So. I think coming back, maybe he has a chat with him, but I think with Dean Henderson, he wants to be number one or he wants to be gone. Because he wants to be in the England squad. That was his main issue, that he wanted to get in the England squad. And obviously, being at Forest, he didn't do too bad. He still didn't make his way into the England squad. I think he wants to be at a bigger club.
Yep.
And I think someone like Newcastle could snap him up from us. And I think he'll be their number one for a very long time.
All right. I mean, if he's going to make a serious push for England, Dean Henderson, he needs to be playing at the top level. He needs to be playing in the Champions League. Now, with the way Newcastle have gone, this season so far, Champions League potentially could be available at Newcastle for him. But at the same time, it would ultimately depend where United finish also as well. I don't see United letting go of David De Gea, but I think if anything, Dean Henderson would be somebody who leaves the club first. But I hope for the club's sake and for future sake that we keep hold of Dean Henderson. He's a good player. I think he'll definitely one day make it as England number one. It'll just be a case of seeing how his development goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Ten Hag should possibly do is have De Gea and Dean Henderson both at the club and use one as like maybe a cup goalkeeper.
I don't see Dean Henderson doing that personally, to be honest. I mean, that doesn't then give you a push as a number one for England, you see. So
true.
Yeah.
No, it's a possibility though. I mean, maybe if Dean Henderson's okay with it for a season, and then we'll see what the situation is with De Gea, and if he wants to leave, maybe we sell De Gea, cash in on him. When he's 33, 34. Where if he goes to another club at that age, he'll have like 3, maybe 4 years on him at club for a contract, and then we put Dean Henderson as our number one. It's something to look out for over the next couple of years. But I've got a feeling that end of the season, Dean Henderson's going to ask to leave, and we're going to end up selling him because we're not going to sell De Gea over Dean Henderson.
I think it's looking that way. I definitely think it's looking that way. Unfortunately,
but obviously, we will find a replacement for Dean Henderson at that point. Now we'll jump on to the next game. Shaz's favourite team playing away here at Brighton, Arsenal, winning 4-2. So I predicted Arsenal would win this game because Arsenal have been on a great run, and I think it's going to continue. But I don't know. I mean, they've got City, United, and Spurs, so I think they'll beat Spurs. United and Arsenal, I think it's going to be a draw. In all honesty, City, I don't know. I don't see Arsenal beating City. I think that's going to be another draw for them.
Okay.
Yeah, but
this game itself, some of the goals scored in this game were pretty good. I thought they let themselves down by letting Brighton score them 2 goals. I think they could have been avoided, but it is what it is. Martinelli's goal was good, and Odegaard's goal was really good as well. So, sorry, Shaz, go on. I'll let you jump in.
I think just to sum it up, Brighton are a good side, but I think Arsenal started probably the quickest they've started in a while, which is why they ended up going 3-0 up before Brighton started to come back into it. Essentially, I got this prediction wrong, but that's fair enough. That happens,
bro. Let's be honest. Let's just put it. Let's just say it as it is. You have an agenda against Arsenal. Let's just say it as it is.
I have an agenda.
That's the only reason you predicted Arsenal to lose is because you have such a big agenda against Arsenal.
Well, I'm still saying they're going to bottle it, so don't worry. It's still
there you go. There you go. What about yourself now? What did you think of this game?
I think it was a game of the week, to be honest. Definitely. A good result, some great performances. I think Saka, Martinelli played really well. Odegaard had a good game as well. Ramsdale was very strong in the goal. I'm surprised Brighton got those 2 goals that they did, in the fact that Arsenal, I mean, even though Brighton...
I think they just lost a little bit of concentration towards the end of the game, and that's what let Brighton score these goals, but they were always going to be just consolation goals. I don't think they were ever going to come back and score 4 and make it a draw or even go on to win it with 5. But yeah, as I said, I don't think them goals should have been scored. I think Arsenal should have been more focused and defended a bit better. But Sol will be happy. Sol's an Arsenal fan. He'll be happy with that result.
I think Arsenal going on a very strong run now as well. I think they've won the last 5 games that they've played in now, and they're comfortably sitting there right at the top. We do have a long way to go, as Shaz says. Yeah, there is a possibility of Arsenal bottling it. It seems to be quite a bit of a trend here with teams from London, bottling.
I was just about to say, are Arsenal going to follow in Spurs' footsteps as their rivals and bottle it? You know what I mean? Only the coming weeks and months will tell. We've got some interesting games coming up, some big games coming up for all teams. I mean, United, Arsenal, United, City, Liverpool, United. We've got all the derbies coming up at the second half of the season. So some interesting games coming along. So we'll definitely be covering them.
Funnily enough, I was checking Odds Checker. I think it was this morning earlier on. Man City are still favourite to win the league. They are, yes.
Wow. Let me tell you something right now. We have to give Arsenal credit where it's due. They currently hold a 7-point advantage. That's by no means a fluke. Will they win the title? Like I said, I'm still backing my sessions. They won't. But the fact is that under 3 years under Arteta, they have improved. As much as I hate to say it, consistency, and I think what it'll come down to is that City versus Arsenal. Even as Shaz has said, it might not be a win or it might not be an Arsenal. It might be a draw, for example, but that represents a step forward for Arsenal compared to where they've been. I mean, the end result is there's still 20 odd games to go. So, believe it or not, that's still a lot of Premier League fixtures to go per side. And at the end of the day, it's really irritating to see other sides can put things better than a lot of. I mean, Spurs are just embarrassing. So they should be relegated from football history.
Just looking at Arsenal's fixtures. Sorry, Chaz. Just looking at Arsenal's fixtures as you were speaking there, they actually have to play Man City twice.
Exactly.
So they've got to play City. They haven't even played City this season yet. So they've got them twice coming up. So that's going to be interesting to see, because that's 6 points that City could take from them. And if it continues as it is, they're only going to be 1 point behind. So it just needs one more game for Arsenal to slip up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Arsenal going forward. It's definitely something to keep an eye on over the coming weeks. But we've got the other half of North London. Tottenham played at home today to Aston Villa and got pasted 2-0. Nothing new. They bottled it again.
Well, I said this as well, that they were going to lose. Lloris had a shocker. Yeah, I think he's still recovering from his World Cup exploits and defeat in the final. Plus, Spurs did what they did the best. I mean, Aston Villa were the best side, and deservedly got their win. I mean, it probably could have been more for Villa. I'm just going to sum it up by saying that Conte is probably getting sacked. A lot of Spurs fans on Twitter are like anti-Conte now because
are they asking for his head already? Flipping heck.
Yeah, it's a style of play, and I think, like I said to you on the podcast, I think on Monday or Tuesday when we did it, Spurs start a game 15 minutes in. So if a game's 90 minutes, they'll play for 75 minutes.
You said it on the last show, actually, bro. You did. I remember you saying it. And it's true.
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's just a shocker.
Yeah, man. What did you catch this game now by any chance today?
No, I didn't. I'll be honest with you. One of my friends was telling me about the game as it was going on, but yeah, I didn't watch it, to be honest. I find Tottenham to be rather painful to watch. I'm glad that Aston Villa did win this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I concur with Shaz in the fact that I believe that I think the writing's on the wall for Conte now with regards to his future. It would be not when, it was just a case of if, when it's going to,
Yeah, no, definitely.
him.
I mean, with Tottenham losing and United winning, United have now gone fourth with a game in hand as well. So if we win that game in hand, we will then go third over Newcastle by 1 point, and we'll be 1 point behind City at that point. So the results have actually worked in United's favour so far this weekend.
Yeah.
I
think Arsenal and City are on 16 games as well as United. I think Newcastle are the only team in the top five. Obviously Tottenham as well, but yeah, Newcastle are the only team that have played 17 games. So yeah, they've played one game extra.
Yeah, you're right, definitely. I mean, does anybody know whose United game in hand is against?
I don't know. I think Shaz might be able to shed some light on that, Shaz.
I'm not sure. I know that I think the Wolves they played, but that wasn't the game in hand. I'm not entirely. I need to have a look back of who it was because we're playing Bournemouth. I'm not entirely sure. It can't be Leeds. Leeds was one game we didn't get to play. I can't remember who the other one was though.
Okay, it says here. Oh no, that's last year's game in hand. The last time we had a game in hand, it was against Burnley. But I can't find it for this one. We'll have a look into it, and we'll talk about that obviously in upcoming podcasts. But we've got one more game to cover from this week. A surprise result, actually. It was a draw between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea. I'm quite surprised. I'm quite surprised Nottingham Forest drew this game, especially after.
Right, I called it. What did I tell you? They were going to play at home. Chelsea were going to slip up. I said 2-2. They ended up 1-1. But I did say
he is Mr. Predictor over here.
Yeah.
Forest beat Liverpool at home and Spurs at home just before the World Cup. And
they did.
Yes, they're rubbish away from home, as proven by their loss to United the other day. But I knew that they were going to struggle. Just Sterling scored first within the first couple of minutes, and then Sergio Aurier, ex Spurs fullback, got the equaliser. But again, Chelsea slipped up, and a lot of the top teams, as I mentioned about 45 minutes ago, geez, how long has it been? Have ended up having a poor result. Even United, for example, by their standards, could have won by 5 or 6. I think I got to one point where Shaz was like, "This is going to be a board draw," and I was like, "You know what?" I was falling asleep to that as well. But I think sometimes you got to be able to win ugly, and it just shows that sometimes some teams will put 10 men behind the ball and struggle.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. I mean, like I said, I'm still quite shocked that Chelsea didn't beat Forest here. It just goes to show that football is probably one of the best sports to watch because anything can happen at any time in football.
Especially in the Premier League, you know.
Yeah, exactly. The Premier League's like you can't predict who's going to get relegated and who's going to win. I don't think you can anyway.
Yeah, it's tough. Week on week, it's tough, you know. Anybody can.
The two games United have actually got 2 games in hand. It shows on their website. 2 Premier League games at the moment have got dates to be confirmed. One is away at Crystal Palace, and the other is at home to Leeds.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 games. At the moment it's only one, but I think one of the other ones must have been moved as well. So yeah, I mean they're not hard games. I mean, we should be beating Crystal Palace whether it's home or away, and Leeds. That's a old rivalry renewed in with Leeds back in the Premier League recently. But I think those 2 games we should be winning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, Shaz, you can't predict these games. I mean, you know, week by week, every game is like a cup final. So, but on paper, definitely should be looking to win them games. Like I said, Ten Hag is looking like a good manager at Manchester United. Should be pushing that top 3 spot. But yeah, it's certainly something that'll be interesting to cover over the next few weeks, I reckon.
With the way United have been playing recently, I'd be very surprised if we don't get top 4 if we continue to play this way.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't think we can contend for the title. I think it's a bit early and a bit stupid in saying that we could win this league. Because, I mean, it's not stupid. I wouldn't say stupid. I don't think it's a possibility right now. And I don't think it's something Ten Hag is looking at doing. I think he just wants to finish top 4. Now, saying that, though, we have got players that are due back soon as well. There's a player that I want to talk about. It's Jadon Sancho. Because he's back in Manchester. He was actually training abroad with some coaches in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Ten Hag sent him abroad, you know, said go train with these coaches in Amsterdam, get some fitness back, you know, try and get your game back, come back to United. Obviously he'll have to get match fitness and he'll have to start training with the team and get, you know, earning his spot in the starting 11 or even on the bench. So I think by end of January we'll be seeing Sancho back, maybe as a sub, and maybe February if he's playing well in the starting 11. But who does he replace in the starting 11? Because a lot of the players are on good form right now. Like Rashford's on good form. Anthony, I think he could replace Anthony because Anthony's not been playing too well. But I want to see Sancho hit form and I want to see him prove people wrong.
Yeah, I think I want to see it come back because just because he's such a talented player. He played with Haaland at Borussia Dortmund, and essentially he's got a lot of talent. I think like you said, he probably is still struggling from the after effects of the abuse he got at the Euro 20 final last year, was the year before, and he's a lot of injury issues. I think he will come back a lot stronger, which is the main thing. But yeah, I mean, I think once he's back, and it's good that he's got individual training because Ten Hag is basically looking at players and saying, look, we want you to be part of it, but you're not mentally with it, so we don't want to burden you with that pressure.
Yeah.
And that's important as a manager. Like Nav said at the start, the fact that Rashford got done for oversleeping, it might be a small point, but it's beautiful because it shows discipline is important. He knows 100%. That you saw the way he played yesterday. It was really boring, but you could see the way the side was set up. Everybody knew what their roles were. Casemiro was making forward runs, almost had a header go in, and that didn't. But I mean, generally, Ten Hag is taking the side in the right direction. Some of the results are going to be painful because, unfortunately, without an out-and-out striker like Van Nistelrooy or CR7 back in the day, or I could
Cody
go on and on.
I mean, you're right, Chaz. Yeah, I mean, the United team are going in the right direction with the way that obviously Ten Hag's playing them, and I think he's been doing well with the way he's disciplining the team and disciplining the players. And I think the players are starting now to understand the way Ten Hag wants them to play and how he wants them to play. And they're starting to play like that, which, I think that's good because we're getting the results now. And that's the main thing, is that we're getting the results. Like the game against Wolves, I think we grinded out a 1-0 win, which United probably haven't done in a long time. And we used to do it a lot under Fergie. Fergie used to just get that one goal and grind out a 1-0 win. And that's the mentality of champions. And that's the mentality of a manager that can take you to win the league.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think, you know what? Oh, sorry. So go for a nap.
No, go on, Shaz. I'll go after you. Don't worry about it, man.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I think that's right. So that winning mentality takes a while to get into a side, and I think what Ten Hag is doing is he's literally, because I've just heard before I jump off, I've heard that he's also taking charge of the reserves as well. So what he's doing is not just looking at the first team, but he's looking at the young talent in the side, taking charge of their reserve matches. Because essentially, if he can link the two up, what he's going to say is, until he gets some solid signing, and because obviously with the Glazers not selling yet, and then if we don't buy a definitive replacement yet, or whether it's loans, he's got to look at the youth system, because the amount of competitions we win, like the Europa League qualifier against Barcelona, you've got the Carabao Cup game against Charlton, the Premier League as well, the FA Cup. He's going to be able to need to find that strength in depth, and if he finds it internally, plus it's good because back in the day in '92 when Fergie brought the Fantastic Five of Giggs,
Class of '92.
Class of '92, Neville brothers, and obviously Scholes. So once he brought them through, so there is talent there. You've just got to harness it. And unfortunately, when you've got the lights of not proper coaches, you're always going to struggle. But yeah, sorry, go for it, Nap.
No, I was just going to say something similar in the fact that you need to have the bare bones there with regards to a winning team or a winning formula. Now, he's pushed Luke Shaw back Luke Shaw into centre back. We've got Varane there. We've got Casemiro now. The bulk of the team is coming along. There's Fernandes. We've got rid of two very big personalities in the team. One, Paul Pogba, and the other, I think, player that was weighing the team down was Cristiano Ronaldo, unfortunately. So yeah, I think you're right with Ten Hag now being in charge of or being there at the reserve games as well. I think it's looking good now for United. I think perhaps now if they can get new owners on board as well, I think they're heading in the right direction. I don't want to jinx them, unfortunately, because I've said this before a number of times after Fergie, that we seem to be making progress is in the right direction, and then it all comes straight down to grinding halt. But yeah, I think with Ten Hag, I think he's kind of gotten the formula. It's looking good.
Yeah, he's building the foundations.
Definitely,
he's going in the right direction, which is what you want to see. Now, I know. Obviously, we're strapped for time. We've got about 5-10 minutes left before we all need to jump off. So what I'll do is I'll go through all the games and we'll just throw your predictions out for these games. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Brentford, Liverpool tomorrow.
2-1 Brentford.
I'm going 2-2.
2-2. I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool here. They need to score some goals. And I hate Liverpool, so that's very hard for me to say. Very hard for me to say that one. That's the only game that's on tomorrow. So then we've got Tuesday, we've got Leicester versus Fulham. Leicester at home.
Fulham 3-0 win.
Oof, bloody hell. I think it's going to be...
It's 3-0 win.
Oh, sorry. What about you, Nav?
I think it's going to be a draw, this one. 1-1, I can see. 0-0 or a 1-1. I don't think it's going to be anything better than that, to be honest.
I say Leicester are going to take this 1-0. Then we've got the battle of first and third, as you said earlier, Nav. Arsenal versus Newcastle.
See, for my brother supports Newcastle. I hope Newcastle win. However, I see Arsenal winning this. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Arsenal this one.
Nice. I think it's going to be 3-2. I think this will be the game of the week for this game week. What about yourself, Shaz?
I'm gonna go 4-3 Newcastle United.
Ooh, you just got that agenda against Arsenal, bro. Every bloody week, bro. Anyway, Everton versus Brighton. Everton at home.
2-0 Everton, I'd say.
Okay.
2-0 Brighton. Brighton are winning this.
I'm gonna go 1-1 on this one. Then we have the match that we all want to talk about is Man United versus Bournemouth, Old Trafford, Tuesday, 8 p.m.
It's going to be a wet and windy Tuesday night. I think United will grind this out probably 2-0. I don't see Bournemouth doing.
I don't see Bournemouth causing us a problem in this one, to be fair. But it's a good game to watch after work on Tuesday, isn't it, Nav?
It will be, definitely.
What about yourself, Shaz? What's your score on this?
I'm going to go 3-0 Man United home win.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3-1. I've got a feeling that Bournemouth will score.
Right.
Next up, we've got Southampton at home to Nottingham Forest. I'm just gonna call it. Nottingham Forest will win this 2-0.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Nottingham Forest might be, geared on with the result they got against Chelsea. I think it might be 1-0 to Forest. I think they might win this one.
Fair play.
Yeah, 1-0 Forest.
Cool. Then we have Leeds at Ellen Road versus West Ham on Wednesday.
Leeds 2-0.
Yeah.
What was that, Shaz?
2-0 Leeds win.
Oh, 2-0 Leeds. Okay.
Yeah, I think Leeds will just about scrape this, but I think it might be just 2-1 to Leeds. I think this one. See West Ham.
I don't know. I'm going to go with West Ham on this. 2-1 West Ham. We've got Aston Villa versus Wolves after that.
1-1.
Right.
1-1, I reckon. 1-1.
I see Villa winning this in the fact that they got a good result today. So yeah, I think 2-0 again, Aston Villa.
Yeah, nice. The last two games, so we've got Crystal Palace at home to Tottenham. I'm just going to say Tottenham are going to lose 1-0 Crystal Palace.
1-0 Palace.
I think Palace are going to win, but I think it'll be 2-1 this one.
2-1. Fair play. The last game of the week for the game week is the biggest game: Chelsea versus Man City at Stamford Bridge. I'm going to go City 3-2 on this one.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Draw, yeah.
I think this is going to be the game of the week, and I think Chelsea might scrape a result. Holland's going to score. That's a given.
That's a given, bro.
Yeah, I think Chelsea might scrape a result. Score wise, I don't know. I think 3-2 or 2-1 to Chelsea, but I think Chelsea will take this one.
Actually, there is another game that week. Chelsea and Fulham are playing their game in hand. Fulham are playing at home against Chelsea. It's from match day 7, that game. It's just popped up at the bottom there. So we'll predict that one as well. I'll say Chelsea will beat Fulham 2-1, but then they'll lose. But before that, they'll lose to City.
Yeah, 1-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea are going to win that one. Maybe 1 or 2-0 as well. I think, like Shaz.
Yeah, fair play. That's all the games covered off prediction-wise. But we've only got a couple of minutes left before we all need to nip off. So appreciate you both coming on. Appreciate you now. Appreciate Shaz being on.
Welcome.
As it shows at the bottom, this is the show called Premier League Talk on the channel. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and also share across social media. But we will be back in a couple of more days with another video, and we'll cover the games that we've just predicted and see who got what right. But I'll leave it up to you lot to leave your final thoughts and final words.
Thank you, Shaz. And thank you, Shaz, again. Yeah, very solid show. Like I said, I'm still sticking to my New Year's resolution. I said I'd be on every show. Started off strong. I'm back on
You
again.
started off strong, bro. You've got to keep it going now.
That's it. Definitely going to keep it going. But yeah, keep it locked, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
No worries, man. How about yourself, Shaz?
Yeah, nice one. Like I said, great to be back on. Happy New Year to everyone. And been an interesting week of Premier League football. But as Shaz has said, and we keep reiterating, stay tuned for more content over the next couple of weeks and over the year. We'll bring you some more fascinating content. But until then, take it easy. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you.
See you later, guys. Thank you.
Peace out.
Too sweet, beeps. Too sweet.